Welcome back to the Critics Corner. I'm Andrew Branca with the Waxahachie Sun, and I'm here with my friend and colleague, Mr. David Dunn with Southlake Style Magazine. And we have got an interesting film for you guys today. It's Will Smith's new sports biopic, King Richard. But before we get into the review here, check out this trailer of King Richard.
I got these two great tennis players. All we need is a club. Everything to go from prodigy to pro. Raise your hand, Serena. Venus Williams. What you think?
Nobody's taking that bet. Tennis takes expert instruction. It takes families with unlimited financial resources. It's like asking somebody to believe that you got the next two Mozarts in your house.
Venus and Serena gonna shake up this world.
I got 1,000,000 miles on me.
Throw it to the sky. Yeah, that's it. There you go.
They're not going to Wimbledon like this. Not with you and me on those raggedy courts.
We just got to stick to the plan. We got champions in the other room.
You taught him all this?
Richard, I'm impressed. I think you might just have the next Michael Jordan.
Oh no, brother man. I got me the next two.
And can't nobody knock it if they try.
Let me ask you about something. What do you want out of this? I know what your dad wants, but what about you?
Well, I want to win the Wimbledon as many times as anyone's ever won it.
You think you can do that? Every American player got good following this path.
We gonna do this a different way.
You pulled him out of juniors. Now you pull him out of practice. You do it constantly.
I'm trying to look out for my kids.
You're looking out for yourself.
This is their life. You gotta let them decide.
Venus Williams, what you want?
Let's show all of those people that I can handle what's coming.
Feels so good to be alive. It feels so good. That's why
You are a champion, and the whole world knows it.
She's playing the best player on the planet. She can't beat her.
But what if she do?
ain't nobody knock it if they try. This is how supersonic fight. Look how we've been fighting to stay alive.
Remember who you are, remember where you came from.
We'll have pride.
I have never been more proud
Do you know how much
in my whole life.
how hard we had to fight?
You gonna show them how dangerous you are?
Let me see your dangerous face. That's your dangerous face. Make some dangerous noises. There you go. That's your dangerous face. That's okay. Don't do that for the people.
So, David, why don't you tell our viewers here a little bit about King Richard and, what's it about?
Yes, sir. So as our viewers probably just saw, King Richard tells a story about Venus and Serena Williams from the perspective of their father, Richard, hence the title of the movie, King Richard. Will Smith plays the titular character, while his wife is played, I'm going to mispronounce this, by Anjone Ellis, and Venus and Serena are played by up-and-comers Sania Sidney and Demi Singleton. And I gotta be honest, man, whenever I saw the trailer for this movie come out, I was like, oh, movie about Venus and Serena Williams, two of the greatest athletes the America has ever produced. And Will Smith is the star. I couldn't help but have a question mark raised at that. I was like, why are we telling this story from the perspective of their dad? And immediately when you watch the movie, you realize why they told it that way. You're like, oh, because it's not a story about their dad. It's a story about the Williams family. It's a story about, it's a rags to riches tale about this whole family, how they all kind of rallied in support behind their daughters, their children, the next generation. And what follows is a pretty moving, personal, and powerful story about friendship, fatherhood, and family. I was really, really impressed with many elements of this movie. Will Smith definitely being one of the standout ones. I mean, if you have Will Smith in a movie, chances are he's never going to deliver a bad performance. Even if he's in a bad movie, like a lot of people didn't like Suicide Squad, he's always usually the best part in it. And that's pretty much the case here as well. He's an absolute standout as Richard. He's very, very good in the role. They do that thing they do in a lot of sports biopics where they show the character in the movie, then they show the real life person at the end, kind of like the fighter a little bit. And I'm telling you, movie, real life, they're the same person. There's little to no distinguishing element between Will Smith and the real life Richard Williams. So that part I was very, very impressed by. And especially the kids as well. I mean, Sania Sidney and Demi Singleton, great as Venus and Serena. Even as teenagers, you rally behind them like this family does. And Anjanae Ellis was also amazing as the wife. Like, I know Will Smith is the top dog because, you know, name recognition, that's a thing. But the whole cast overall is outstanding in this movie, Andy. I think this is a very early contender for best ensemble cast at the SAG Awards, and I hope they seriously get considered because everybody was excellent in this movie. Everybody was excellent.
You're probably gonna hate me for my opinion, but I'm gonna give it anyways. It was good. I just thought it was just kind of the standard sports biopic story. I didn't see anything really too special out of it personally. I mean, you have person A who works hard to achieve a goal. He achieves that goal and then messes up somehow. And then person B comes along and basically tells person A off, hey, you're being stupid. Person A gets his act together and achieves greatness. And I mean, it was okay. I mean, it was your standard sports biopic. I didn't see anything too special out of it personally, out of my view here.
Yeah, you're right. I do hate your opinion. Listen, on the surface level, I do agree with that. There's not a whole lot distinguishing this from other sports biopics. Obviously, it's a rags to riches tale. Quite literally at the beginning of the movie, you see this family in the very desperate neighborhoods of Compton, and later on in the movie, they go into these very luxurious, sort of house apartments in Florida. So it very much is, it does kind of fit the usual mold of sports biopic. What I think is the different element here is the family element. It would have been way too easy to tell this movie from the perspective of Venus and Serena and show their parents as like surrounding characters. Instead, in an interesting change of perspective, the parents are the forefront, and their goal, their motivation, their the kind of arc in their film, if you would, isn't their playing in the field, not them playing tennis against other talented players, but them encouraging, motivating, and training their own kids on to doing that. In that aspect, I think the movie is very, very different from other sports biopics. I, at the very least, can't think of another sports biopic where it's told from the perspective of the parents. Can you, Andy?
No, not offhand. I mean, it definitely has that unique quality to it, but honestly, I wasn't really impressed by it. The one thing I didn't really care for too much is they made Richard out to be almost kind of a saint to some degree. They touched on a little bit of his previous life that he had before getting married to the woman that was his wife in the film. They kind of touched on that a little bit more, but that was basically used as a clever plot device to trigger him back into, oh, I'm being stupid. Let's fix what I did was wrong. I mean, I don't think it was an accurate portrayal of who Richard Williams actually is.
And see, I disagree with that a lot. I don't think the movie portrays him as a saint at all. I think what the movie portrays him as is a father. And what are fathers usually? Good fathers, in actuality. They care for their kids. They're very motivated. They push them a lot. They house them. They shelter them. They feed them. They care for them. But they're also people too. They're very flawed. They have their own opinions. They're headstrong to a fault. And sometimes, their fatherly advice, their old-fashioned ways, they're kind of wrong. And they're kind of rightfully called out on that. Richard Williams, this movie, quite a few times is portrayed as that headstrong, kind of opinionated, at times ignorant kind of person. You see the love he has at all times. You see the drive he has, the motivation. You see how he stands up to other bullies and other kind of problematic figures in his neighborhood. But you also see he's very set in the plan, as he says in the movie. And he's not always right in that plan. Sometimes plans need to change. And in this case, the plan did, not spoiler territory-ish, but the plan does change a few times this movie. And it turned out, obviously, it ended up turning out to be the right play. I mean, we know who Venus and Serena Williams are today. So I don't agree with that characterization saying that he's portrayed as a saint in this movie. I think he's portrayed like any other character is in this movie. He's portrayed as a person, and he's just as fallible and flawed as anybody else is, but his intentions are pure. And I think that's what you can describe this movie as, is pure. A little rough around the edges, but it comes from an earnest place.
Now we're definitely going to have to agree to disagree. I think he's shown in more of a favorable light than he truly is, and I didn't like that from some of the stuff I've read about him online. I just that they polish it up way too much.
I mean, I'd be curious what details you think they intentionally left out or polished, as you say. I do know the movie was produced by Venus and Serena themselves, so I think I could see the argument of them trying to make some details a little more cleaner for their father to make them look better. But also, it doesn't feel like they embellish much. It does feel like everything you see in the movie is how it happened, or at the very least, a perception of how things happened, at least from the family's perspective. I could see that.
And I get that, and I understand that. And you always want to look at a family member, in the best light, and but we're definitely going to have to agree to disagree. I just think he was a little bit. Yeah, granted, there were parts of the film. Yeah, he did show flaws and stuff like that, but there was a good portion of the film that he was just shown as this, guy bordering on sainthood, and that's definitely, I don't think, was a fair and accurate portrayal of who that guy is.
I completely disagree with the sainthood characterization. If you looked at this movie and you thought Richard Williams was being portrayed as a saint, I can't help but feel like you read the movie wrong. And he is a father in this movie. That's what he should be seen as. And he wasn't, I wouldn't say that he was the perfect father. I mean, he definitely made mistakes, and they illustrated that in this movie. But like any other good father, he did what he thought was best for his children. And sometimes what you do is just wrong. It just is. And the fact that the movie showed the good, the great, with the ugly and with the bad, I think is what makes the film so special. It shows that even though those flaws are there, they don't change the love and the affection that family has for each other. I think it's a very genuine and special film in that respect.
Yeah, we're gonna have to agree to disagree. You're not gonna convince me.
Can we at least agree that Will Smith was great in the movie?
I do think Will Smith was great in this movie. He did a good job. I do think he's borrowed a lot from other roles he's had in the past, like Pursuit of Happiness. I mean, there's definitely a lot of similarities to his character in that film with King Richard.
Similarities between the characters, yes. Between the portrayals, no. There's no similarity between his character in Pursuit of Happiness versus here? What universe are we in right now?
It's my thoughts, man. I just think he borrowed a lot from that portrayal and didn't bring a whole lot of things that were new to the screen.
Listen. If he came in and he just Will Smith the whole scene up, if he came in, he was just being the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air throughout like the whole 2-hour runtime, I would agree with you. He didn't. He put on the accent. He brought the emotion. He brought the gravitas. He brought the unique flair that is King Richard. And this performance is very distinguishable from his performance in Pursuit of Happiness or Concussion or any other movie he's done recently. Like, I don't know where the disconnect is here.
I knew you were going to disagree with what I thought, so it's fine.
Agreement's fine, but man, I don't understand how we're in two separate worlds here. I went in this movie with the perspective of, oh, it's unusual they're telling it from the dad's perspective. Why is the dad so important to this story? Well, the only reason the dad's so important in this story is because any dad's important in any family story, and that's what I see this story as. I don't see it as a tennis story. I don't see it as a sports biographic, even though it is. I see it as a homily on family unity and, just going through life together as one unit. That's what it is.
Well, like I said, we're gonna have to agree to disagree on this one.
You're right. I can't believe this, man. I don't know if I can't remember the last time we've disagreed this much. Was it huh?
Die Hard, maybe.
Okay, no. We agree Die Hard's a great movie. Where we disagree is whether it's a Christmas movie, and it's not a Christmas movie.
It is a Christmas movie.
I think the last time we may have disagreed this much was when we did The Usual Suspects. Like, I gave it a 6 and you gave it like a 9 or something.
It was one of the greatest movies ever.
You have a right to that opinion. Man, so what did work for you in this movie? You didn't like the plot. You didn't like, or you kind of like Will Smith.
I guess what I liked about this movie, I mean, it was entertaining. It was a decent story, but it was just really formatted. I mean, you can see the same type of story and plot in 100 other movies, and I didn't see anything that really stood out of it.
I don't agree with that. And the fact that you couldn't even name another sports movie where it's told from the perspective of the parents shows that.
I'm not even the formula for it. I'm not even talking about the parental aspect of it. The taking it from the idea of the parents and seeing it through their eyes. Yes, I will give you that. That's very unique.
Yeah.
But the formula of the way the film operates is the same in 100 other sports type of movies.
I mean, the framing.
You can see it in films like Rudy, or you can see it in, Remember the Titans. I mean, you can see it in, a lot of other movies where it follows that kind of format there.
Yeah, and I don't disagree. Like, as I said earlier, the framing of it is absolutely the same. The bare bones of the plot is very similar to other sports biographical picks.
I'm not saying,
but that's because all sports biographical picks are like that. You have to have a beginning, you have to have a rise, resolution, climax, and then the ending of that triumphant journey.
I'm not saying King Richard is a bad movie. I'm just saying it's kind of mediocre. It doesn't really lend itself to be anything more than just a sports movie. It's not really outstanding in my opinion.
And I disagree, but you are right. We do disagree on this one, and I'm so devastated by that.
Well, I'm sorry you're wrong, but that's cool. You can be wrong for today. I'll accept that.
This is how the show runs, ladies and gentlemen. And
Andy,
he says that it's wrong. I didn't say it to him. He said it to me.
In the words of Adam Savage, I substitute your reality and replace it with my own.
So you agree it's your reality. That's fine. I'll take that. As long as it's your reality and not reality as a whole. I'll take that.
Oh, whatever. Yeah, it doesn't mean you win.
Sure. I win on this one and I win on Die Hard.
No, you don't. No, never. That's a debate for another day that we will continue that where you will lose. So, that's fine. Well, anyways, this has been another interesting edition of the Critics Corner. So we need to give this a rating before we go. So out of 10, how many stars do you give this?
Solid 9. And if you give it any less, you're wrong.
7.
Okay, I'll take that. I'll take a 7. Shows that you enjoyed it. Not as praiseworthy as a 9, but general positive.
It's kind of a middle, of the road kind of a rating there, but
I'll take
7.
it. Yeah.
I mean, it's what I would call a good B movie, in my opinion.
Not a B movie at all, but whatever. I'll leave that go.
I don't mean it like that in a negative way. I mean it in kind of.
Like a B grade movie, like
B grade movie, not like a B movie. No.
Okay. That
or not like the B movie with that comedian.
We don't need to speak that into existence. That movie never happened.
Yeah, Jerry Seinfeld movie about the bee never happened at all.
No, it didn't. It never reached my TV. Never streamed it. Never saw it.
There's not a buzz about it or anything.
Nope, there's no buzz at all.
No
buzz
honey,
along with the flowers.
No honey.
Nope.
No pollen.
Nope.
Okay.
No Tomato Meter score. No box office numbers. Nothing. Just didn't exist.
Okay. Well, on that note, I think that's gonna do us. On that note, I think that's gonna wrap us up for the Critics Corner this week. So if you have any thoughts, suggestions, or comments, let us know, and we'll be glad to hear from you. So we'll check you guys back next week, and see you soon.
See y'all soon.